Good morning. Now, 50 leading politicians and business people are gathering at a ski resort in Switzerland today. It's a tough job. There's only one subject on the agenda. It's a big one. The future of the world. There will be no announcements, no press conferences. The whole party will be closed to reporters. It's the annual meeting of something called the Bilderberg Group. For some people, that demands a dun-dun-dun. For others, not. It's very, very secretive, though.
Yeah, because if you're into conspiracy theories, you may have heard the group being blamed for, among other things, the credit crunch and 9/11, even plotting the destruction of most of the world's population and of being interstellar lizards as well. It's been called a capitalist cabal. But is it really that sinister? The likes of Bill Clinton, Prince Charles and George Osborne have attended in the past.
I think interstellar lizards was the David Icke theory on the Bilderberg Group. David Aronovich is a columnist at the Times, author of Voodoo Histories, The Role of the Conspiracy Theory in Shaping Modern History, and a very interesting book it is too. I have it myself on my shelf. David, good morning.
Good morning. And incidentally, since you want a two-word description of everything, I too am an interstellar lizard, according to David Icke. You probably are as well.
I would have thought so. I would certainly hope so, because they will think, because you kind of poo-pooed this conspiracy stuff, they'll have you down as a Bilderberg stooge, I suppose. Almost
certainly a paid shill for the group, for this secretive group meeting in Switzerland.
Who are they?
Well, the Bilderberg Group are essentially, as you probably know, there's quite a lot of little groups around, made up not of the world's leaders, but the people who are almost the world's leaders, because the world's leaders don't have time to go to things like the Bilderberg Group. There are people who do kind of transatlantic meetings. There's something about the successor generation, for instance, which has regular meetings in America and Britain. And it's a sort of kind of supper club, an occasional supper club, meets up every year, not the same people, and they have big discussions which they think are terribly important and which some of them like, and then they go away again. They meet up again the next year. But because what they do is in secret, it's a bit like the business of what we call Chatham House rules. Chatham House being the International Institute for International Affairs, the Institute for International Affairs. The kind of idea is that people come together and they speak. They will only speak openly if nobody is going to report them, and then they can have kind of open discussions and really talk about the problems of the world and so on. But that very secrecy, of course, engenders an incredible interest amongst some people about what they're actually getting up to.
And if people believe that 9/11 was a massive conspiracy, and there'll be texts saying, oh, how can you poo-poo it? There always are. It has traction with some people for whatever psychological purpose or need that they have. They will be looking for those who ultimately have controlled it, and the fingers often point at the Bilderberg Group.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a particular kind of version of what used to be very much a right-wing theory, an extreme right-wing theory. The John Birch Society in America, a group of very right-wing people, have always had this idea that the world is being taken over by a group of sort of metropolitan, cosmopolitan, elite liberal capitalists, sometimes in league with the Jews, in order to kind of try and take the world away from its authentic self, you know, the kind of national church family type of world, and to turn it over to these international cosmopolitan elites. But now, more recently, the left, certain of the left conspiracists have joined in, and they kind of come together now in agreeing that this is how the world is.
It's interesting because the Nazis had the theory about the Jews that they were responsible for world communism and also world capitalism. They were kind of to blame for everything. And there's the fact that, is there a strain of anti-Semitism about this? For some people who see the conspiracy theories in the name Bilderberg could be Jewish, for example.
You know, for some of them there is, yes. I mean, as you know, it's actually a town in Holland rather than a guy called Bilderberg. You know,
Isaac Bilderberg, you know.
The old Isaac Bilderberg, who built a whole town in Holland so that they could name a hotel after him. Cunning, these people. No, there can be amongst some of the more right-wing groups this notion of anti-Semitism, and I think that's also slightly grown on the left. And it's the association with banks, and because bankers go as well, etc. But it's kind of rather difficult, because any conspiracy that has Ken Clark at the top of it, you think is not likely really to be very threatening.
Or very well organised. You say anti-Semitism, just finally, I thought there, you threw that in. It's interesting what you say. You feel that anti-Semitism has grown on the left. Why so?
Well, I think it's been associated a bit with extreme forms of anti-Zionism. I think because of the conflict in the Middle East, I think a lot of people who have been, you know, very, very shocked by the plight of the Palestinians have rather let their kind of, if you like, ideological guards down. They've not seen other people who are coming in with different agendas, really, and they've bought into a kind of notion that there is an Israeli stroke Jewish stroke Zionist lobby of immense power which controls things, and I think that's why.
And another thought, you say, people think Ken Clarke's at the top of this. I mean, he's a human being. He's an astute politician, but he sometimes makes mistakes. And just like the American government, who, with 9/11, to be able to organise that, and if it was a plot, it's extraordinary, because people see, in the chaos and mayhem of modern government, they see the clinical and the cynical and the deliberate, and it's never like that, is it?
No, it's never like that. But you can see why people wanted it to be. And it's a bit like a kind of malign version of that group in Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade. You remember the people who guard the Grail. It's the idea that there are secret groups, for good or for ill, who effectively kind of shape the end of the world, that it's not all the kind of great, big, complicated, messy chaos that we often think it is, but that it's somehow very, very well and tightly organised by groups who know what they're doing.
Thank you very much indeed, David.
Welcome.
7:30.
And here's Laura Tobin with the weather.
Good morning to you. A very unsurprising day of weather today. Yet again, it is sunshine and showers. Now, if we start off across Scotland for the rest of the morning, showers will continue. Some of them heavy, particularly across western areas of Scotland. Hail, thunder, certainly a possibility through much of the morning. Limited amounts of sunshine. Through the afternoon, though, things get more promising. The showers will ease away. The sunshine returns. It'll be dry and bright with light winds. Highs maybe up to 16 degrees in Aberdeen. Now for Northern Ireland, it will be sunshine and showers for all day long. Some of the showers heavy, particularly during the morning, turning more widespread as we head through the afternoon and evening. Limited amounts of brightness, but in some sunshine we could get up to 13 degrees.